Twilight has been done for years, and yet we're still talking about it. It might have had some time, let's call them interesting moments. These films still have loads of followers. The films, however, would have looked a lot different if they didn't have any computer-generated images and special effects in them. Let's check out how they would have looked without CGI. The results might shock you and make you laugh. First up, Bella petting Jacob. Sounds like the three main cast members were really close while they were filming. That's probably a really good thing when you take into account just how close they all needed to get. There was no social distancing in this film, I can tell you that. But one of the sweetest moments in the film is also one of the funniest moments of filming. There's one moment where Bella is feeling a lot of care for Jacob in his wolf form. It's in between some battles and it shows just how much love there is between these two characters too. But the film scene without CGI is just seriously funny. In it, Taylor Lautner is wearing a non-reflective suit and he comes and stands close to Kristen Stewart, just like the wolf would in the movie. Except he's just a guy and the wolf would later be imposed over his acting. It's kinda weird to see, but the really funny moment comes a little bit later when Lautner comes and stands in front of Kristen. In the movie, Bella rubs Jacob's head in his wolf form. A sweet little moment, but in the film scene, Kristen Stewart is just rubbing Taylor Lautner's head. It's really hilarious. I just have no idea how they kept their composure and didn't burst out laughing in each take. It was really funny. Which version of the scene do you love most? Next, the vampires sparkle. A big part of the vampires in the Twilight series is the special sparkle they get. It's really noticeable and Bella keeps saying how beautiful it is. It might actually be one of the reasons that she falls in love with Edward. Many fans thought that it was just some incredible makeup or shimmery powder, but in reality there was a lot more that went into it before they got the shots that made it into the film. Production crew made 3D renderings and with a bunch of different shots with different lighting, they got all the sparkly shots they could ever need. The normal guy with loads of white makeup went from super pale to all sparkly. It was actually pretty cool. Now, all the times the wolves transform. Jacob and the rest of the group of wolves transform from their human form into the forms of wolves very easily in the movies. The character would just be running around and then suddenly they went from a person into a wolf. It happens so effortlessly that it's kind of easy to forget that it can't actually be happening in front of our eyes like the movie's trying to make us believe. There has to be a touch of movie magic in there somewhere, and there was actually more than a little. In the moments that they run or jump or whatever they do, the actors who are transforming would be hooked up to a rig that would lift them into the air. Then in the air, the shot that they filmed would be edited to cover them with the wolf that they're transforming into. It would completely change, and in the end, it would just look completely effortless. There are loads of these moments in the movies, and they're all done really well. Next up, the showdown with the werewolves. Another moment that this was performed really well is in the scene where Bella is facing off against one of Jacob's family. Bella's not someone that is super confrontational for most of the movie. In fact, one of the biggest issues that many people have with the movies is that Bella doesn't stand up for herself often enough. That's why this scene is so important to the character. Bella actually hits one of them and they transform into a wolf. Kristen Stewart needed practice to get the punch just right, and they used CGI to transform him into a wolf. Now, Edward saving Bella's life. One of the first romantic scenes in the movies is when Edward saves Bella's life when she's almost hit by a car. It's also one of the first times that the viewers and Bella, for that matter, actually saw just how strong Edward is. They created this scene more with practical effects than CGI, but how they made it happen is still pretty cool. They created a new panel for the van at the spot where Edward would be pushing into it. This new panel was really soft, so Robert Pattinson could easily push into it and dent the door, making it look like he's really strong. There wasn't a lot of computer graphics involved, but it was done really well. Which scenes from the Twilight movies are your favorites? Share them with us in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. Next up is some of the biggest, most iconic CGI moments from the Twilight movies. The scenes with baby Renesmee and how it could have actually been much worse. The scenes where Bella was pregnant, so much more. Next up on our list, the scenes in the trees. Another fan favorite scene has to be the one where Bella and Edward go swinging and jumping through the trees. It's a really cute scene where the couple is starting to fall in love, and one of the great moments when things aren't as serious as they generally are in the rest of the movies. It's just a young couple who's having fun with each other. Not that a normal young couple can fly through the air like that, but it's close enough. Obviously, Robert Pattinson can't actually jump from tree to tree as easily as the film makes it seem, especially not with someone on his back, so he needed a little bit of help. To create these scenes, scenes, they used a rig that was set up inside 3 large trees. That way they could leap from tree to tree, and then after the filming was done, they could actually fill the scene in to make it look like there was a lot more trees and that Edward isn't fastened on anything. They put in just as much effort and special effects into that fun moment than they did for some of the bigger action scenes. Now we have when Bella was pregnant and giving birth. Growing a little vampire in a human body is hard work, and while Bella was pregnant with her and Edward's baby, she got really sick. She lost a lot of weight and got really pale. But they didn't expect Kristen Stewart to do that in real life. Instead, they used a lot of special effects to create those scenes. They created an entire prosthetic body for Bella while she was giving birth. They could put that through a whole lot more than they would have been able to do with the real actress. They also did scenes where they added makeup and prosthetic face pieces to make her look much thinner and paler than she was in reality. They also used CGI to make her look sick. I think it's pretty great that they didn't force Kristen Stewart to lose weight for the role. Instead, they could do it all with computer-generated images. Next, creating baby Renesmee. Edward and Bella's baby would age pretty quickly, and they wanted the baby to look like the actress Mackenzie Foy that would end up playing the final version of Renesmee. Fans know that the baby as she aged was probably the worst piece of CGI in any of the Twilight movies. But what they might not know is that things could have been much worse. At first, they created an animatronic little baby doll that would have been used in place of the baby, but that thing was seriously scary. It was really bad. They decided that it would be too creepy to use, so instead, they used real babies, and the scenes that they filmed with them are actually pretty cute. It really looks like a little family with Bella and Edward, but then they went one step further and possibly one step too far. They took Mackenzie Foy's face and baby photos to figure out how baby Renesmee would look right through her growing process. Then they used these pictures to create the face that we actually saw on the screen. It wasn't great, but it could have been even worse, and I kind of get what they were trying to do. What do you think? Would it have been better if they just used normal baby faces and actors of different ages? And lastly, Renesmee riding on Jacob's back. In one scene where Renesmee has grown quite a bit, she's riding on Jacob's back while he is a wolf. For that scene, they let the actress ride a mechanical bull with fur on it in front of a green screen. Then they could use CGI to make it seem like she's riding the wolf out in the open. It's a pretty great way of doing it. Which scenes did you love to see without CGI? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.